live. Tried to start the little intro there, but it didn't quite work. So we'll get to the intro next week. Is it working for you?
It just threw me off. I was waiting for it still.
Yeah.
I was sitting there looking at my phone and I went.
All right, no problem. So
looked like a deer.
All right, so we got 4 people here already. Please feel free to leave us some comments here. I'm Josh Baysinger of Baysinger's Disc Golf Channel, and over here to this side, oh my gosh, over here to this side, I have.
You had it right.
Yeah,
Josh Delp, Daddy Delp.
Yeah. So this is the whole discussion. Basically, what we do on this podcast is we talk about a course that he and I have both played. In this particular podcast, number 2, we are talking about Winged Deer Park Disc Golf Course in Johnson City, Tennessee. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get going. Jeffrey Staley already in the comments. What up, man? But I'm going to go ahead and while we wait for some people to tune in here, I'm going to show some pictures, some thumbnails of videos that Josh and I both had go up this week, and then also show some thumbnails of videos we have on this course that we're talking about. So first of all, I had this video go up this week. It was the Halo Disc Golf Course, which is a course that I helped design, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner there, with Seth Overbay. So this was my first round since my back injury. Of course, this has been a few weeks now, but I had this video go up Monday, so make sure you check that one out. After that one, I had this video go up on Wednesday, where I got a Takapoo Ace on a short little course, Sarah Moore Green Elementary School Disc Golf Course in Knoxville, Tennessee. And then this next thumbnail I'm showing you here was supposed to go up on Friday, but apparently I never hit schedule. So that will be going up on Monday. My fault. So that will be hole 1 there. That Sarah Moore Green course, the What Would You Throw. So Josh, you want to talk a little bit about what videos you had go up this week?
If I can remember what they were.
Let's get a Josh Delp super fan in the comments here. Maybe they can tell us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had a disc review or 2 go up. I believe they were the Insanity. I did a review on the Insanity, and I had a comment. Somebody commented, they was like, they hate all these new, the most, or the best, like, flying disc names.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It's what gets views. You gotta go with the flow on it. But I had that video pop up, and then I also did a video on the first ever mystery box that Throw More Disc Golf Store did. So I got one of those and did a little unboxing of it and showed what you can get in it. They may still have some, so you might want to check with them. They said that they were going to check Monday to see if they had any left, but they had like probably a little bit less than half left whenever I was there, maybe Thursday or Friday. I don't remember. So there's a good chance there's some left if you want one. They're like $44, so not too bad.
Nice. Mystery boxes are always fun. So I guess is that the only ones you had go up this week?
Yeah, I should have had one go up yesterday, but we had my daughter's birthday party Friday and just did not get to it because I usually have an upload on Saturday, so I'll get back to my 3 a week.
Cool. Happy birthday, Charlotte.
Yeah, happy birthday.
All right, so I guess we can go ahead and kind of get into the course, but first I'll show the thumbnails of the videos that we each have. I've got all of them here. So the first video the BDGC crew ever filmed at Winged Deer Park Disc Golf Course, which is the course we're talking about today, is this one right here, BDGC Bag Tag Match number 1. This has quite a bit of a different layout than what the current layout is, so may not want to stick to that one too much. After that, I've got this video right here where I had Jennifer McGibbon and Donna Barr 2017 USWG DGC course preview. That was just for the, like I said, the USWDGC. The front 9 video for the USWDGC I filmed up there is here. And then I did a couple little breakdowns of Valerie Jenkins, and Valerie Jenkins Doss and Vanessa Van Dyken, just split those up at their rounds playing winged deer. Outside of that, I'll just show the front 9 thumbnail for when we did a Team BDGC video. It was me, Jason Ferguson, and Alex Ferguson there. So that's it for my videos. If you want to check any of those out, and I'll let John his.
So I do have, I know, at least 4 videos out. So the thumbnail right here is short. It's the short pins, and it's technically what we're going over is the gray pins, and that's what the short pins are, quote unquote. But there's a couple gray pins, I think maybe 2 holes at this course that are technically not shorter than the white pins. So there's that. But there's a front 9 here, and then I also have the back 9 as well. And just a FYI, the hole on this thumbnail is actually not a gray basket. There's only 1 pin on this hole in general, and it's a white veteran basket. So during the video, whenever we're talking about that on the back 9, you will be going to a white basket instead of a gray. So
nice. Okay.
And then, like you showing right here, I got the front 9 for the whites or longs on this one as well. And basically, these videos are just me all showing you what the course is. I'm not really doing like a round or anything. I'm throwing the best shots I can just to show you what shots work. So they're not really like a round that I was trying to shoot good.
Nice.
Yeah. And there's the back 9. That's one of the beasts.
Yeah, that's Gavin Babcock apparently joined you for the channel.
Yeah.
There, so it's pretty cool.
And he really likes the point. Really loved the point at that point in time.
All right. So do you have any other things to discuss before we get into the actual live course review?
Other than the course stuff, really, like I told you right before we came on, I am officially one of the RPM discs I didn't have bagged. I am officially making the decision to bag, and it is the Kotare. I'm bagging awesome. the flat top. I might put 2 in because I got a couple platinum ones that came out not long ago. Those bottom stamp ones, and they're not quite as overstable, but they are still beefy. And then I got some flat ones, and they are nice for forehands. So I'm officially deciding for that to be probably my forehand disc because they're so reliable. But yeah, awesome. That's the biggest thing that's happened in my life.
Cool.
Disc golf.
I don't really have anything else besides that, except for it looks like Jeffrey Steele likes your beard.
Well, yeah, in the pictures there was a beard there. Not anymore. Baysinger's got the beard now. Right. Beard singer.
I took it over. All right. I guess we can go ahead and get into hole number 1 here. As you can see from the T-pad here, I've got Alex Ferguson when he was just a little baby Ferguson here. Actually, this was in 2020, so not that long ago, but he's grown up quite a bit.
He's still baby.
I know. Shout out to Alex Ferguson. But before we even get started, let's say if anybody isn't subscribed to Alex, make sure you do that. His channel. We'll try and put a link to his channel in the comments here after we're done. But Alex Ferguson Disc Golf. So hole number 1 is 248. It's not the pin that you see on the left up there. It's kind of goes up to that on the right side that you see here where those kinds of bushes start ending, and you see the one tree out on the right side. The basket is up. It's kind of, not going to lie, I would call it a lefty hole, wouldn't you, Josh?
If you play the initial fairway that the hole is designed to, then yes, but not the gap that I throw or what a lot of righties throw.
Ooh, so I'm going to show it back up here again and see, because I'm unaware of this gap. If you can kind of point out, is it to the right of that large tree right there?
Yeah, so if you look on the right side of the fairway, the first tree that's prominent that you'll see after Alex's head, the gray one, if you just throw a hyzer, I throw a putter on hyzer there's a gap that gets you all the way to the basket. it's not even that bad of a gap. The only thing is if you miss the actual gap and hit a tree, then you're going to be in this mess down to the right. But as long as you throw it high and on hyzer, I've parked it. I think the last 2 times I've actually played that hole doing that, and it's a much easier hole playing it that way instead of playing the actual fairway.
Yeah. Now I think I have seen a few people do that. Oddly enough, I believe I saw Jerry do that line, and he's a lefty, but I think he did
turnover,
kind of more like I think it was more like a hyzer flip, something understable, like aiming just to the right of that tree you're talking about and letting it flip up past that tree and get up there. So I guess it would be kind of similar to what you're talking about, but it would get the fade to the right, which I think that's a good thing because we actually, me, Jason, Jerry, and Griff actually just played this course. What was that, 3 weeks ago? Something like that? 2.5, 3 weeks ago?
It was actually wasn't it last week because you didn't know if you were going to be able to do the podcast. And you got back in time to go on.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, because we were on our way. Yeah, it was when we were doing this one, I believe, not the one over on your channel, but I believe it was when we were doing this. And yeah, because of some vehicular issues, we'll say. But yeah, so we played that, and I think Jerry went up that side up there, but he did hit, like you said, and got knocked down.
Yeah.
Now, I personally went with the hyzer. I honestly took, if I'm not mistaken, I think I threw a Kahoo on just a nice little hyzer line and just let it get up down there around those trees. And honestly, through there, it's similar to going over the top of that stuff. Is just hope you hit a gap almost,
Yeah, and for the people, if they're not paying attention, Baysinger's lefty. So when he's saying hyzer, it would be a forehand for a righty or so. And I honestly think that gap's actually harder than the gap I throw to get to the basket.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that I should probably, this may be straying kind of away from the hole in particular, but I saw it on a Simon podcast or a video one time where he was talking about for me, for instance, to get more right, it's easier to take a more understable disc on a lot of hyzer, so it gets that pushing fade rather than dumping out. And when I first heard that, I was like, the man's crazy. I know he's one of the top disc golfers, but he's crazy. But I've since tried that, and it actually does make sense because you're getting that pushing fade rather than, just coming in at this spike angle. So if I'm not mistaken, I did throw a Kahoo on there. I got up there. Shout out Jeffrey Staley once again. We're going to say it on the first hole. Missed the putt. And took my 3. So
that's how it goes sometimes. That's how it be.
Yeah, it is.
No,
so.
For me, though, on that hole, in general, at least for that basket, I'm probably just going to throw a putter. I'm going to throw like a premium plastic Takapoo or something. Just try to hit it on hyzer and let it just get a small amount of like that, almost like flip up fade. If you want to call it, not like a super overstable flight, because all I'm planning to do is get over that stuff and hit that hillside, because it'll just, something slow isn't going to skip that much. So if I go a little left, but it's really, I think, a lot straighter of a shot than what it is to play the fairway that you're having to play as a lefty, because that does actually push kind of far right. So throwing through that right side's actually going more straight at the basket. So it's more of just like a straight kind of gentle push to the left than what I would have to throw a forehand to get it to do.
Okay. I can see that for sure. I do want to try that line. Like I said, I've seen people do that, but I didn't know what your exact line was. That's why I wanted to throw the picture up again. One thing we didn't really mention was the fact that hole, it's 248, which is not the longest distance, but it's uphill the entire way. So it's like a slow kind of slope, right, as you're getting up until you get like past those trees there, and then it even goes up even more. So it's essentially kind of, that's going to look weird, but that's kind of how it plays there. You know what I mean? Like
it's
almost
a
like two. Yeah, so it's like uphill and then it's on a mound up there. So it's really hard, at least for somebody of my level. It's really hard to reach that one. I'm definitely okay with a par on that one any day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really It was a weird one. It had me perplexed at first when I first stepped up to it, and then I just looked into the woods, and I went, "Oh." And then, and I'd never played them before when I was there, and I asked these two local guys there. I was like, "There's no Mando on this, is there?" And they were like, "Yeah, right there on that tree, you're supposed to." And I was like, "That's not listed on the tee sign at all, or in the caddy book. It doesn't say a Mando at all." So I said, "I'm not playing a Mando." And then it got to the tournament, and there wasn't a Mando. So that's the thing is, always you don't always have to play the hole the way it's designed.
Right. I've never actually put this together, but I almost want to compare this hole to hole 9 at Kiwanis.
Hole 9.
So it's
9. Oh, okay.
No. I'm sorry, 10.
10?
Hole 10.
Hole
at Kiwanis,
10.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even Amanda corrected me there.
Yeah, I could see that actually, because that's it's just opposite in elevation. So hole 10, it's a little bit below you, and this one's up above you. But yeah, I mean, you see the same thing at Kiwanis all the time. You see somebody that doesn't know the course really well looking down the fairway, and then you see the other guys standing there on the very far back corner of the tee pad, like hanging a forehand out as far as they can, just so they can do it, because it's so wide open over there. Right. So yeah, that is a very good comparison to it.
I actually never thought about that until that, and that's why I love this podcast, where we can actually break down each hole and see and think about things that you may not have ever really talked about on those two holes, you know?
Yeah, definitely. But I think it's, once you get the drive out the way, it's a fairly straightforward hole. For me, like I said, I'm going putter, and I feel like I shouldn't miss the gap, and if I do, it's a bad day. That's what I'm going for. But I do think, like, the way you have to play it, it is a harder birdie than the way I play it.
Yeah.
I think so, because the push. Yeah,
exactly. And I will say, like, that day, this was just coming off the back injury. This is one of my, like, I think it was maybe my third round or something like that. And so I wasn't trying too many extra shots or anything like that. I kind of would throw one, and that was it, you know? And I had, when I released it and got up there, I'm like, oh, I had a great drive, and it still left me probably 40 feet short or so, and downhill. So,
yeah, I think that way that you play it actually has the incline more in play than going over that one part that I play. Like, I think it slopes more gradually on your side that you play that hyzer, so it has to glide higher to actually get there. Maybe I could be just wrong.
Could you just wrong? That's it. One question I'll say, because we didn't really talk about this before, and I hate to kind of do this on the live feed here, but when we talk, so obviously we're just talking about the gray pins front 9 on this video. Do you want to say whether we like this one better than the other one and not really get into the other one, or do you think we should wait until we do the gray one and the white, and then on the whites come back and say, I like this one better, or I like the other one better?
I mean, if we want to, we could maybe give our opinion during this one, but maybe not go crazy in depth on the other position, because who knows, somebody might tune in next week that didn't watch this one.
Right. Yeah.
Or something too. So I mean, we can remind people. Maybe.
Okay. All right. So we'll just say, you know, it's kind of hard to say since we're only talking about the short one, but I'm going to say that I like the other one better on this one, the white one.
I would agree. Okay. I would agree with that. And then I guess we can explain ourselves next week.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
Well, it would actually be different, because next week we'll be doing
in 2 weeks. Oh, that's right. It'll be like a month. We'll really have to remind people.
Yeah. We might have to watch the podcast before and remind ourselves, hey, extra views, whatever.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I love the podcast because I get ideas for plaid shirts from Baysinger. Thank you, sir. Brand new Walmart special, $21.99. I'm pretty sure of it.
Wow. Walmart's expensive still.
All right. I don't. Let's just do our thumbs up or thumbs down on this one. I'm going to say thumbs up. I like this hole, but it's not my favorite of the two pins.
I'll I'll say I like the hole, but I don't play it the way it's designed. Like it's fine.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm gonna go in between because I
Okay.
don't play it the way that it's designed. Actually,
Mm-hmm. I understand that. I do think it's a good. Well, before we go to hole two, your thoughts on it as a starting hole. Charlie Davenport in the comments. What's up, buddy? He said I'm. I don't know what that's all about, but
it's Charlie. I'm sorry.
Look, there we go. Charlie, oh, we love you, Charlie. He said, late to the party. What hole? We're just finishing up on hole one right now. Talking about it, whether we think it's a good starting hole. And we're doing the grays on this one. So, hole one, I do like the white one better, but I also think that this one's a good starting hole just simply because it's not a gimme two right off the gate.
Yeah. I don't like the gray one for a starting hole. I like the white one for a starting hole. I don't like the gray because it's just exactly the same reason as I said the sideways thumb. I'm not
Okay.
playing the intentional hole, so obviously I'm not playing it the way that's meant to be thrown.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I don't like the gray as a starting hole.
Okay. I understand that. All right, so without further ado, we'll move on to hole number two. But as I'm throwing the picture up here, I do want to say two things that I didn't mention. One, this course is, according to UDisc, or no, I'm sorry, according to Disc Golf Course Review, this course was put in the ground in 1992. So
Yeah, that's a
that's
while.
pretty amazing. Yeah.
I feel like I
And
was
then,
told that it even had a different layout at one point.
yeah, I'm there. We will get to that in a few holes. I do have some thumbnails from some of the older uh, tee pad locations, so we'll talk about them briefly. But since it's not part of the course, we won't get too much into it. But and
Okay.
then also I wanted to say, just like you see at the bottom of the screen, any BDGC, got my country coming out. Any BDGC Patreon supporters or Team BDGC members are welcome to join us in the live feed as long as you've got headphones. You can come in the live feed and talk with me and Delp. So, hole two, it is 169 feet. As you can see, we've got Jason Ferguson on the tee here on this thumbnail. Josh, you're going to have to help me with where the pin is, like Jeffrey said here. I think it's on the left side, like kind of where that fallen tree is.
Yes. So if you're looking at the root ball on the bottom of that tree, you're almost immediately to the left. So the tree, you'll see a big tree in the middle, then a skinny one, and then another one back behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That tree that you can barely see, the third one, is the basket's like back behind it. Like if you get to that tree, you can be about like circle edge or something. It's not a very
Okay.
far hole.
All right. Yeah. Well, 169 is what it says, and you can see it's actually downhill off the tee. I think I know Tim. I'm not sure exactly who all did some of the extra course help when USWDGC was coming around, but this tee pad seems like they've done so much work to it. It looks amazing, and it's just right up on this mound. You're teeing off, and it goes downhill, and then if I'm not mistaken, a little bit uphill to the left. Correct?
Yeah, the basket's going to be still sitting below you, but it
Mm-hmm.
does kind of sit up. It's not like an actual huge, like a prominent mound, but it is kind of um, on a little bit of a slope on that left side.
Okay. All right. Jeffrey Staley says, so what are you doing, Kia or Takapoo? I'm going to guess what Josh is throwing, and I'm saying Takapoo. And I personally am throwing a P-Walk on this one, being left-handed. P-Walk or Tui. Kind of depends on what my arm's doing that day. You know what I mean? I guess we'll see what my drive was on hole one, and then decide from there whether I'm going P-Walk or Tui.
Yeah, I can feel that. So I'm on the same type of wavelength. It's going to be depending on what I'm feeling that day. So um, I might just go a super low power Takapoo because it doesn't take a lot. Like I've thrown envies on it. Um,
Hmm.
it's just really what I'm feeling that day. So if maybe my putter releases haven't been quite what I want them to, and I'm throwing them maybe a little too straight, then I'll just go with something that I know is going to go left. So I've thrown zones, I've thrown yarns, I've thrown Nakia. Basically, it just is anything I can release on a hyzer.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, I
that's
feel
slow
that.
speed.
So Charlie says, for you, Baysinger, there's now a straight line to the left. You saying that
Oh,
of that to the left of that first tree? So does that mean? I feel like this picture that I'm looking at looks much more open than from when we played it last week. So I don't know if he's telling me or not, but is that tree, that little curvy tree, has it fallen? Is that what he's talking about? Or
maybe
been
I don't
taken out?
know. It's been a few months since I actually did play this because I played this course a lot during the season, early part of the season. So I
Hmm.
don't know. I, honestly, to be just honest with you, I never look at that side because I'm not
Okay.
throwing that way at all. So it's just not in my head. But
Yeah.
maybe now, if you had a forehand or something, it would be a really good shot for it too because it's not where it's downhill. It's a pretty easy
Hmm.
distance to get a forehand. But there might be some trees missing there that I just haven't paid attention to.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he says. Charlie said he threw a zone at it the other day. Brent is
Yeah.
throwing a pure. I can see that, a pure working as well. Shout out, Hot Man. Just getting over his COVID. Scott, I didn't even realize that was you. Shout out. Well, so this hole I think is an outstanding hole. Um, it's pretty straightforward. I saw someone. I kind of lost a comment here where somebody was talking about the ground play. Jeffrey, yeah, feel like you
Oh
really got to
yeah.
watch ground play, and he's exactly right. You definitely uh, got to watch the ground play on this one because that green is fast up there.
You do need to watch the ground play, but I think it's a whole lot less of an issue on the gray basket than it is the white basket because the white basket's actually got that down slope that's
Right?
right
Yeah.
starts at the basket, so it's
Hmm.
super easy to go skipping off of that. And if you're a righty, at least throwing a hyzer into that green and it slopes up a little to the left, kind of just stops it. The only thing you have to worry about is maybe hitting the basket or a tree and getting a roll
Okay.
for that left basket. I think it's way more in play for that white basket.
Yeah. And it's maybe I'm thinking of hole three. Hole three to me feels very similar to hole two.
Well, I don't
Just a
know.
little more.
The look of it, maybe, but the flights for me are way different.
Maybe that's
Well,
we'll give.
not way different, but they are slightly different because I'm throwing different discs
Hmm.
on it
Okay.
for sure.
We'll see when we get there. Be able to. I just in my head, I'm thinking that it kind of seems very similar to me.
I think the shape of the fairway is similar, or the look of it is very similar off the tee.
That could be what it is. It could just be getting in my head there. The danger of the gray basket is throwing too far or throwing too soft and hitting the big tree and rolling down the hill. Charlie, you're right with that,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Well, so this one, I know we're kind of moving on pretty quick, but this course is fairly short. I would say it reminds me of something kind of like Kiwanis, but a lot of the holes are you don't think of it in your head, but like this hole's shorter than most of the holes at Kiwanis. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. That with them having two basket placements for almost every single hole,
Hmm.
that's bound to happen. I feel like I don't know. I think if Kiwanis had pars changed, then
Hmm.
it would feel a whole lot more equal to me
Right.
in my
Okay.
head because there's so many par fours on Kiwanis that shouldn't be par fours like any of them.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah.
So
The
if
only
there were
one that I
all,
would say could be a par four is if they kept hole two in the long one across the concrete path there.
It could be. It could be. I
Could.
almost tooted it the
Wow,
last time
impressive.
I played it. I just threw a forehand and I hit where the short basket is on that one and skipped right to the edge of the path and I had like a circle's edge putt.
Yeah.
But I missed it, so.
But I missed it. No, not a Josh missing it. So.
Yeah.
I really don't have anything else about this. But like I said, just throw something on a little bit of baby hyzer, let it flip up and get over there to that left side. Even with the Tui, even if I hit fairly early, not if you hit one of the early things, but if I hit one of those trees up there, I'm still going to have 40, 50 foot putt, something like that.
Yeah. It's straightforward. It's a straightforward hole, I think.
Right. Yeah. So this one, I'm going to give it a thumbs up as well.
Yeah.
I think
it's a good
hills.
One. Yeah, I like it. Do you
All
prefer
right.
the white or the gray?
Ooh, almost switched it.
I tried to catch you real quick.
Ooh, honestly, you would think with me being a lefty that I'm going to automatically say the right pin, the white one. But I honestly think I do prefer the lefty one just because for me personally, a lefty, I feel like I almost on the white one just have to throw straight and just let the disc do the work. Whereas this other pin, the gray one, I feel like I have to do some of the work, if that makes sense. Versus I can't just throw and let the disc fall out and then I'm, putting for a 2.
Yeah. And then for that reason, I like the white better. Because I'm a righty.
There you go. Yeah.
Because I mean, if I miss the gray one, it's a very I'm losing a stroke on people.
Okay.
There, because if I don't get the gray one, it's missing a stroke, and the white one I've seen people not get plenty of times. So I think it's just the same reason I like the white better.
Okay. Now, the gray one's the short one on this one, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Are all the grays are not shorts, right?
No, there is one. I think there's at least 2 that are longer than the whites, and and one of them is really weird.
I think I know which one you're talking about, but we'll get there when we get there. So
yeah,
if you don't have anything else about hole, I'm going to show this one again right quick, just while we're going away from hole 2. That way we can see the instant I can't even talk. Let me take this. So you can see hole. Let me take the comment off here right quick, just so we can see the hole a little bit better, and then we'll throw one up after. But we'll see the instant comparison between hole 2 and hole 3, and see if it is maybe just the look of the hole. So you can see here, hole 3. Oh, so I guess it is a little bit different. I feel like it plays fairly similar. This one's longer at 202 feet. Does that distance sound right to you?
I honestly feel like, I don't know. I feel like it's more in the mid 200s. I feel like it. I could be wrong, but no matter what, even if it is 202, it's going to play. If it is 202, it's going to play probably 240 because it's on that uphill slope, and it's
right.
And for me, the reason I don't see the gray basket being the same is because it's dead straight on this shot. Between those trees on the now, I don't know if there used to be another position or not, but in the middle of that gap is where that gray basket is.
Okay, all right. Now maybe Charlie can help us in the comments here because like I said, I just played this one not too long ago. I feel like there is a righty pin to the right because if I'm not mistaken, it's like up on the rocks and stuff going down towards hole 4's tee, right?
Now that is the white basket. The white basket. So let me see if I can help. So if you follow the trees on the left and just keep going all the way up to the hillside, and then you'll see that mound right where both sides of the fairway meet. If you just keep on funneling it back, that's the gray basket. Now, if you go just to the right of it, you can't see the white basket from here. It does bend to the right past the past the next tee, kind of. And that's the white basket
Okay.
location on the right side over there.
Okay. All right. So this one I would probably play fairly similar to the other one, maybe a P walk again, but probably with a little bit more hyzer just to get it to go straight. Actually, I'd probably step up to the Pekka Pekka on this one just to make sure, because it's got that uphill at the end. Honestly,
yeah,
I'm not going to lie. Looking back, like when I think of these two holes in my head, I feel like they look almost exactly the same. But now looking at the pictures back to back, they do not. I was incorrect.
Yeah, because this one's uphill, and then the basket does not go to the left at all. That's the only reason I was like, maybe it looks kind of the same, but but it does not go the same place. Now, if you mirrored it, maybe, and it's just a longer version of the last one mirrored.
Okay.
So you have a straight basket and one that goes long right instead of having a straight basket and a short left. It's kind of mirrored on that side of things. So you're throwing, you said a P walk or a Pekka Pekka, maybe?
I'm guessing Pekka Pekka, maybe one of the more stable runs of Pekka Pekkas, just so I don't chance turning over to the left.
Okay. For me, I am gonna have to be boring and say Takapoo again, probably. I mean, literally, when I get on a wooded course, if I don't have to throw anything faster than a putter, I'm not going to.
I feel you.
And
I wish I could personally do that.
I mean, it just simplifies it for me. And basically, most wooded courses, if you just throw straight, you're going to have a shot at it. So I throw, and this one, I just have to throw my straightest putter I have. And if I land slightly short, that's okay. And if I go past it, the putter shouldn't go too far. I have thrown envies, like baseline envies in the past at them, and they do fine. But something like a Takapoo is going to do the same thing for me. I just need it to go dead straight.
Yeah. Now, I think personally for me, I'll say on this hole before we go to a different one, but I think on holes like hole 3 in particular, it's wooded and you've got a gap to hit. You know, I mean, it's a fairly wide gap, but there is still a gap there. You know, it's not just like Cherokee, most of the holes where you're just throwing and don't have to worry about it. But I think on holes like this in particular with the uphill at the end, I believe I'm way too worried about trying to get to, not necessarily like distance wise, but trying to get position wise to the basket. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to rehash the whole conversation, but how are you talking about, you know, I don't have to get there distance wise if I can land inside the circle.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm that way as far as right and left on holes like this in particular.
Yeah. And this one, honestly, you don't want to land at the bottom, but landing like 20 feet short is going to be better than 20 feet deep, probably, because you're going to be putting straight down. If you miss the basket, you're probably going to have a 40-footer.
Right, because it's got that downhill.
Yeah, so that can be a little, and it's also, I mean, not picking baskets, but they're not the best baskets for catching either. So they're I don't remember which ones they are, but they're the mock. Some mock.
They're the 1992 special is what they are.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a chance you hit them and it still doesn't catch. So
yeah, I agree with what Charlie says here. The rocks make this gray pin very tricky.
Yeah, it can for sure. If you hit one and cause it to come up on edge, or either you can even get skips off of them. I've had that happen before. Like throw it to where I thought it was going to park, and then get an anti-skip because it just like a daggone Hot Wheels off of it.
You got the orange Hot Wheels ramp.
Yeah, straight up with
You're
the power
way
boosters,
back, bro.
You got the power booster wheels spinning.
Mach 3s is what Charlie's saying. These are.
Yeah. Okay, Mach 3s.
So,
yeah.
Those are old.
You left out a part that he said.
Oh yeah, the mud. I figured I'd leave that one out. I didn't think y'all wanted to see that part.
I did.
See, that's why I throw a koi. Oh, okay. So it can rip in half. I'm not, sorry, that was terrible.
Oh gosh, no, just get a hole.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, sorry, I went off rails there. I apologize, Brent.
Hot take.
Yeah. I don't really have much more about this hole unless you do.
No, I mean this one, like you said, the gap's fairly wide, but there are random trees that you do have to kind of miss. That like you got this Y tree on the right side for a righty. It comes in play whenever you're just trying to throw straight, because if you do yank it, you could potentially hit that tree and kick left or right. So I mean, it can get in your head, but it is a gap. It's a fair gap.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, besides that, I mean, I think the trees on the right side and stuff come more in play whenever you play the long basket.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is just a great golf hole in my opinion. You know, I mean, it can be a hyzer flip, something straight. You know, that Anheuser flex, but whatever kind of shot you want on this one, you can pretty much make it happen as long as you get your angles right and the height.
I like this hole.
I do too. I'm gonna give it a big thumbs up. I'm gonna give it Siskel and Ebert 2 thumbs up on this because it's just a golf hole. You know what I mean? It's a great golf hole.
Yeah, I agree, and I will go on the line and say this, that I would prefer this as a starting hole over any of the other ones we've played so far, because it is straightforward. You don't have to think about what you're doing, but it's not easy. Right. It's not just, even though it says 200 feet, it doesn't play 200. You still have to throw it further than that, and there's some risk on it, but I like just being able to look and see a basket and be like, that's a cool line. If you miss it, you messed up.
True. I agree. That's a great hole. I'm not going to say my favorite right off the bat just yet, but I will say it's up there on my favorite, at least on the front 9 of this course. One of my favorites.
And so the gray or the white? The gray or the white? Which one's your favorite?
This. I'm glad you on it today. I'm going to say the gray again, honestly.
Okay.
I feel like for the same exact reason I said on hole 2, it doesn't play so much to the left, but it's straight. You know what I mean? I feel like the same thing with the white one. I just throw it straight and let it get over there.
This one has me slightly. I'm caught up trying to figure out which one I like better, because it depends on, I guess, what I'm doing. I generally like a harder hole more than I do an easy hole. If I enjoy playing one more, I guess I would say I'm just going to go ahead and say the white. I just think it's harder and it's still an achievable line.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of figured in my mind that's what I was thinking you were going to say, just because, like you said, it's a little bit trickier. I don't think this is one of the few locations where the baskets are not away, really, really far away. Because, I mean, there's probably, 80 feet between the 2 baskets?
Maybe 60 or 80. Either way, if I land at the gray basket, I am putting to the other basket. I'm not throwing a shot unless I'm in a weird spot.
Yeah. With the trees, I could see maybe if you went far left, you might have to throw a little forehand or something.
Yeah, like if I'm having to scramble, I'll throw a shot. But if I'm anywhere close to where I can just draw back, I'm gonna be putting. So they're close enough to do that, and you be able to putt from one and get in the circle of the other one.
Right.
It's just a way different line. So yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we can move on to hole number 4 here, as you see, once again, Mr. Alex Ferguson on the tee. This one is, shout out Fergie. He's an awesome dude. This one's 252 feet, and this is the left pin. I do remember that. This one honestly, I feel like it plays quite a bit shorter than 252.
I'm trying to think. This is one of the holes I feel like the distance is actually longer than what it says.
Oh, okay.
I feel like this one's actually closer to like 270. I feel like.
Oh,
I
really?
could be wrong. It does play downhill some.
Okay.
And just for reference, so people know, if you look like eye level with Alex and go like just like a hair over between the tree line and his head, that's exactly where the basket is. You can barely see it, right in the middle of that field. For me, I don't know. It might be. I feel like it at least plays close to 240, 250 for me. Because I'm throwing something like either a Kia or I've thrown a yarn before, and I throw them about as hard as I can on a big hyzer.
Okay. Oh, so you're trying to swing it out towards the stuff on the right and just let the disc do the work?
Yeah, I try to control my distance on those open field shots like that because they're usually in tournament. You are playing the right side as OB as well, so I'm trying not to turn something over. So I play overstable. That's going to dump left.
Okay, yeah. I think for me on this one, it's bad that I can't remember considering I just played this course 2 weeks ago, but I want to say I did like a more stable peka on this one and did it on a little bit, like maybe either flat or just a very small touch of Anheuser to get it to do like push towards the left but not go in that stuff, and then just let it kind of get that nice little peka fade right at the end, which is like the very minimal fade.
Yeah, and that left side too, you can't tell. There are like little like almost like pine tree like firs on that left side out of picture. So if you do turn something over or hyzer something out far over there, it can just make your upshot weird. It's not you should be able to get up and down, but it's gonna make it weird.
Right. Yeah. I guess maybe it's the drop that's making me think this hole's a little bit further, and maybe you're taking that in. So, or I'm sorry, I thought that it was a little bit shorter than the 252. I was thinking this distance. I feel like it's shorter than that, but maybe it's just that drop that's making me think that.
I think it's the drop that makes it play closer to 250, and its actual distance like 270. I feel that way because. Like I said, usually if I throw, like I've thrown A3s on it, I've thrown the Kia, I've thrown the yarn zones. As long as I throw them really pretty hard and on hyzer out to the right far enough, they're going to land in the circle, usually about pin high, maybe a little deep. And for me, an overstable disc with no glide like that, getting around 250 is about normal.
Okay.
Actual distance. So that's why I feel like it's a little bit. Charlie said he actually thinks it's shorter, but
yeah, I just feel that I saw it too. I don't know. I mean, Charlie plays it probably more than you or I both.
Well, for sure.
You know, I don't know why. For some reason, because you know my arm. You know how I am. Normally at 252, I'm probably thinking like a Kahoo or something on that, like a Flippy or Kahoo. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I went peka on this one, but.
I was curious if I had like I was going to see if I actually had like a winged deer caddy sheet on my phone at one point. If you want to keep talking, I might be able to look it up to see.
Okay, all right. So I'll go ahead and talk about what I think on this one. Like I kind of talked about it a little bit, but as far as if I do or don't like the hole, I do like the hole, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that I like the white basket better on this one, simply because it is further. I want to say maybe 100 feet further. I don't have that distance here to know exactly, but I think that this one, the right one, makes you play a much different shot than what the left one does, in my opinion. That could be just a lefty speaking, but for the lefty, me going to the other one, like I definitely have to worry about that OB. For me on this one, I don't have to worry about the OB on the right side. The only issue for me on this one would be turning it over to the left and going in those pines, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a way different shot. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to really think. I don't know. I don't like just super simple holes being my favorite. I don't know that I absolutely love the white one, but I
Mm-hmm.
do. It is a hard shot to throw. I mean, I think the white one probably is a better basket just because it's not like so simple
Yeah.
to do. There's a lot of risk reward in it, especially if you've got an arm at all too. You could actually go long if you go for it. This hole generally right here lately, it's made me play a layup game and then putt over to the basket for a 3 and just move
Yeah.
on. I'm not trying to score this hole. So I mean, I like it. I like the white basket better than the gray.
Yeah, I do too. I think for me, this one, um, I just think the short one on this one, there's not a lot of difficulty to it. It's just,
No,
just kind of throw. And I don't know. I'm going to go ahead on record and say this is one of my least favorite holes on the course when we're talking about the gray pins.
I could see. I mean, I could see that being that. I mean, there's not much there for you. I mean, all there is just a basket out in the middle of a field.
Right. And
I can see where you're going with that.
I'm not going to say I'm necessarily going to get this hole every single time.
Yeah.
But if I don't get it, that's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Like, I feel like there's nothing there aside from distance control. There's no real danger. It's just kind of throwing out to. Kind of reminds me of, imagine hole 1 at Cherokee, but without the drop off behind it.
Yeah.
So
It's really
no
similar.
real danger.
It's very similar. I can't find a caddy book, so I usually have like 40 of them on my phone from tournaments, but I cannot find a wing deer one. So I don't know.
Fine.
Next time I'll take my rangefinder and shoot it.
That works. Well, short looks very easy, no lie. Jeffrey, I agree. I mean,
yeah,
he said his forehand key upshots were he couldn't miss today, so I feel like he could do that the same one, Ooh, Charlie's got some information here. He says, when the hole was originally designed, there was a huge sugar maple tree about 45 off the tee that made you throw the right side. Okay. So
it would still not be one of my favorite holes, but it would definitely make the tee shot. I mean, it doesn't make a righty think about it all that much more because I play it probably the way that would have been played anyways.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. You're playing it the same way anyway,
Yeah.
Charlie, was that? I think I remember that, honestly, that sugar maple. Was it? I want to say it was like right after that big drop, if I'm not mistaken. Josh, you may not have been around here at that time.
I didn't play this course for a while. Like, this is one of the last courses in the Tri-Cities I played.
Okay.
Well, that's not true because I've not played any college courses over there. So.
Wow, coming in with a hot take lies.
Yeah, I definitely called myself back out on that as soon as I said it.
Master of disc golf.
Hey, he's here, mother of disc golf.
Mother Master. It was in the middle of that little pit just off the tee. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So I think I kind of remember that because it seems way more open now than what it was when I first. My chair's squeaking here. Sorry about that. Well, I don't have anything else. I'm actually going to say that for this pin. My hot take. It's not. To me, you could get this a hole just like this at a campus course, a school course, elementary school course, or something like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could see that.
It may be a little bit longer distance-wise than what you're going to have on those courses like that. But to me, if I miss this hole, it's my fault, not the course. Not the course.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely I don't like just looking at a basket out in the field when I throw generally. If there's some random trees in it that can add some obstacles in the way, that makes it a little bit better. But I'm in the middle. Like, it's whatever. You're gonna have those holes to mix it up. So I mean, to throw a little bit in there to take you out of the woods and let somebody open up is okay.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit, kind of like you've went through 3 wooded holes. Here's you a little bit of a cookie. Here you go. Have some fun. If you miss it, if you drop it on the floor, then that's your fault.
Exactly.
I gave it to you, so I won't hate on it too bad because it is there, and there are during tournaments. There's OB on the right and on the left all around it, but to get to the left is bad. I see people go OB on the right all the time because the wind, and they try to throw something like a hyzer flip at it. That's why I go over stable, so I can't go OB right unless I just yank it, and then I deserved it.
You just swing it and let the disc do the work. That's the same reason why I'm like. I mean, I'm not going to say it's one of the worst holes I've played, but I'm just saying on this. I'm just saying on the front 9 at least. I think this is so far it's my least favorite of what we've played.
Yeah, if we're going from what we played on the front 9, yeah, it's my least favorite out of them.
All right, well, hot takes in the house with the Joshuas. Anything else? Not so sure about the dance, but hey, if it gets us more subscribers, I'm good with it.
I'm sure of it.
He said, I'm sure of it. All right, so anything else before we go to hole 5?
No, I'm good.
No. All right. Trying to see. Oh, wow. We've been live for an hour. That's.
Yeah, I just keep kicking my table, too, and my camera's like.
All right. So, hole number 5, you can see here. Once again, Mr. Jason Ferguson on the tee. These pictures, I will say, I think they were taken in 2020. So, this is fairly recent, but not all completely up to date. And I will say, this limb just over the tee, not the little curvy one going down the fairway, but the other one, if I'm not mistaken, has been cut some.
Has it?
I believe so. The one that's like right, that it looks like Jason could stand on the corner of the tee and jump and hit his head on it. I think
the one hanging over the tee, kind of?
Yes. Yeah, I believe that one, maybe. I hope it's not the other one. But I remember something was different about this one. Charlie can probably let us know. Because I'm sure he's played this recently. But I feel like that limb in particular is gone. What were you laughing at? Oh, there we go. Both limbs.
Oh, no. That really does. It doesn't change the hole that much, but it takes some of the difficulty away.
Yeah, I will say that it's not. I feel like maybe just the end of it's cut off. Charlie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the one going down the fairway, the one that looks like it's playing the fairway. I think that it's still in the way a little bit because I remember that you can't just throw. You still have to hit a particular line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like having those 2 limbs there is what made this hole unique.
Right. Yeah.
So if they're not there anymore, it's going to feel different to me. At least the one over my head. Even if that one's gone, it would make me feel different than just having that one out there because it makes you feel like you have to get low.
Yes. Yeah.
Right on the tee. So, I mean, it made me feel different. It boxed you in.
Mm-hmm. Of course, safety is always the most important thing on these courses, but it does kind of suck to see stuff like that those changes, but if it was a safety thing, I completely understand. And look at that limb. It looks, actually, if you look on the very end of it. Sorry if my audio
it looks like
loud.
It's cut.
Yeah, it's cut right there. So
safety, meh.
Yeah, he said meh. So this one's I've got 100 and no, I'm sorry, I flipped my sheet over there. This one I've got at 156 feet on the left pin. The gray one is so if you follow the tree line on the left and you see. I would say just about where that branch off in the distance is hanging down, you want to go left right after that, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Josh?
Yeah. So if that branch that you're talking about on that tree halfway down the fairway, if you kind of follow that branch and skip off tree, there's like a white dot. Mm-hmm. That might be the top of the basket.
Okay. All right.
Somewhere around there is where that basket is. Like if you're looking on the tee, you can see the basket to the left barely of both of those trees, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. I think you're right. This pin, I want to go ahead and say that I really like this left pin. This is a very fun hole. It's not something that, like me, just looking at it right now, thinking of this may ease your mind a little bit about the limb that's going down the fairway. Just looking at the shape of the hole, if that limb wasn't there, I feel like I would do it like a high turnover and let it kind of work its way down that way. And I did not do that. So that's what makes me think that still quite a bit of that limb is in the way, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. What I'm doing for this pin is, Stelly said it, I'm going to take something that's overstable. I feel like I have to throw this hole at least around 250, maybe a little bit more. It might be like slightly uphill or something to the basket. There is a little mound to the basket to the left.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to throw like a Kia. I've thrown a yarn before. Basically, I just take something that's really overstable and I hit it hard because I want a little bit of skip. So I want to land somewhere just past that limb under it, super low, and flare up to the basket. The thing is, you kind of want to go short of this basket in between that tree and the basket and not deep because those woods come in pretty quick right past the basket.
Right. I'll say this is one of the easier holes. Maybe it's just the distance. What I say, 156. So maybe it's just the distance. But you know, me, like I said, the guys, we all went up, excluding Riley. All of us went up and played it. And if I'm not mistaken, 3 of the 4 of us birdied it. And we're not, you know, we're fairly low level players. You know, I'm not trying to talk us up or anything, but so that lets me know that this hole's, if you get around some of that stuff, it's a fairly easy hole.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those ones you really want to get. I've missed it and I've seen people miss it just because the fact is like you can go deep pretty easy if you've got an okay arm speed, or you can hit that branch that's right before the basket and drop and you're like 40 feet. So making a putt, if you're not a pro, like it's making 40s all the time, then your chances of getting a birdie on that drop drastically if you hit that branch.
Yeah. It looks, I just saw this comment up here. Charlie said they've just been trimmed, not cut off.
Okay, good.
So yeah, I just remember it. It definitely looks a little bit different than what it did in that picture there, but like I said, not enough to where I did that. Like I can see in the future, I'll go ahead and say if that limb does eventually get taken down, which I'm sure it will, hopefully 20 years from now, but I'll do that big Anheuser, you know what I mean? That big high shot and let it get underneath those trees.
Now, I don't know if it's an option much or not, but I'm pretty sure, I think it was Clay, on a card behind me at a tournament this year, threw a forehand with like a harp or a zone, righty forehand, and kicked off that tree before the basket and aced.
Wow, no way.
So I was curious as if you've ever taken something like a P Waka Waka or something and tried to throw to the left of those trees and just squeeze by them, just low, like a hyzer flip or something, instead of trying to go around.
Yeah, that's exactly. Well, that's not what I tried to go around. I went P-Walk, I'll say that. But I do remember throwing an additional shot. This is one of the few where I did try. I took my Strata P-Walk, which is way more understable. I did that and tried to get it to go up there. I don't think it worked out. Probably just I missed my line. But yeah, I definitely see that being a play for the lefty.
It's one of those holes I feel like is if you have that lefty where you don't have the forehand and you're trying, and the way for you to get there to the right is not necessarily a high percentage, is you just taking a disc and trying to throw right at those trees and hope that it goes left of them or through the middle of them. You would be putting either way if you do that. That's one of those holes, like if I step up to something, I look at my highest percentage thing and I go, if I just throw right at the trees and get lucky past them, I got to putt for a birdie or something instead of trying something that's really not like a comfortable shot or a high percentage shot. If you know you can throw straight, you could get within a putt probably. So I could see that being an option.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, man.
Oh, you good?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the righty could almost do that little shout out to my buddy Jared Odell that does this like air bounce ultimate shot. I feel like you could almost do that for the righty on this one.
Oh, kind of like just try to throw something that like goes up and around that tree on the right, like a
Yeah,
hyzer, like an air bounce hyzer, maybe like a stalled nose up thing, and just
exactly.
miss
Yeah,
that branch. You
right.
could. I think
And
it's
that and
less. Like I think it's a less like me getting that to work over a skip shot is less likely for me.
okay, because
Probably
you're not comfortable with that shot as much.
not as comfortable with it, or if I mess up, I might hit that branch right off the tree, or off the tee.
Okay. Yeah.
So if there's something that's going to make me throw a shot 100 feet shorter, then
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably just going to try to pick the other shot, because my worst case then is I still get like 120 feet up the fairway instead of 10. So
Okay.
I look at what my second shot potentially could be. So then I might try it for fun
Yeah.
one day, like if I'm not practicing, but half my rounds are never for fun. They're like, they're for
Yeah.
tournament fun.
For a
So
tournament.
they're
Hey man, it's
tournament
fun.
fun.
Just
So
try whatever.
I've seen it happen before, and I've done it in doubles whenever I'm like, okay, this doesn't matter anymore. And just try something. But in general, like I look at it and I just weigh my percentages. So that shot I just wouldn't throw, because I would be like, if I'm nervous, I might hit that branch and then I'm really screwed.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm gonna throw the picture up once again here, if I can find it, and tell me if I'm wrong on this. But another thing that I thought of, I don't think I tried it that day because I didn't want to overdo it. But I think a righty forehand roller or a lefty backhand with something that's really understable could cut and get over there up into that spot.
Uh, it could be, but that's another one of those situations where I'm gonna not do it unless it's for fun, because of the extra variable, because of
Right.
that road. That road's OB.
Mm-hmm.
So if I throw a bad roller, like say I hit like a branch or something I don't see, and then all of a sudden my disc just turns right and just starts rolling, and
Yeah.
I'll go OB, then I'm like, well, that was stupid. Why did I do that? So
And
I could
this is
see it
why I
being
play
one.
intermediate.
So I mean, that's one of those things I just look at and I weigh, because also too, you got to think on a roller, like for a righty forehand, it slopes to the right.
Yeah.
So it's, if you mess up your angle a little bit and you don't turn it enough, that's going to slope your disc to the right even more. So you actually have to turn something over more on a forehand to
Right.
get it, and that gets touchy sometimes. So I could see it being a fun thing to do, but I
It'd be a
wouldn't
fun
do it.
challenge shot. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a fun challenge shot. Next time you play a tournament there, do it.
Yeah, I probably will not. I think you probably, judging by those two limbs, I think you probably had to set that roller down about 2 3/4 inches off the tee. So you
Yeah,
might have to run up from behind and just throw from the very back of the tee to make
definitely
that look
not 3 inches.
good. No,
Two
not
and three
three. Two
quarter.
and three quarters for sure.
Yeah, those
All
are one of
right.
those
Well,
things. Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, I
Go ahead, man.
agree. You good? I'll just stop it.
We could talk about. Apparently, we're going to talk about every single line. When we said the whole discussion, like we're going to talk about every line.
Yes, and in
Um,
its entirety.
right. I don't have anything else for this one. Far as yay or nay, yes, I like this hole. It's a good hole.
Yeah, I think it's a cool hole. It's a fun one to
And
play. And white or
white or gray?
gray?
Do you know your answer? Because I'm still kind of thinking.
I'm. You know
So
what?
no.
I'm kind of. I don't know. I think I'm kind of neutral on this one, because I'm throwing pretty much the same shot. It's just I throw the other one harder, and
Okay.
I think the danger is almost the same for me. It's going too far left too early, or going deep into
Mm,
the same woods. So I'm just going to say both of them. I could play either of them either day and be thinking the same thing. So I'm not. I
okay.
don't know that I actually have a favorite on this one.
I feel like for me, I feel like they're different shots for me. Does that make sense? Considering you just.
I think it would be a different shot for somebody that has to throw that, like you don't have like that stock, like hyzer shot with it.
Right.
You do have to throw a different. You have to think about it flipping at a different point or throwing a straighter shot. As to me, I just have to throw the same disc, basically the same line on it. It's just one I have to throw shorter.
So you're not discing up for the long one.
It just depends on how the disc that I usually throw is flying that day. Like if I'm just not getting like my normal power behind it that I normally would, then I might disc up slightly. But if I'm throwing the way I feel like I should be, I can throw the same disc to it.
Okay. So for me, this one's hard for me because I really like both of these holes. You know what I mean? I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to choose which are my favorite, but honestly, I think man. I really, really don't know. I think I'm probably just because of what we said about other holes, about it just kind of being straight and not having to do as much work for myself as opposed to letting the disc do the work. I think I'm going to say the left pin.
Okay, the gray one?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Okay.
Which is the short one. And I think, honestly, probably that's just because there's, like you said, on the long one, even for the lefty, there's really one thing I'm doing on that hole. I'm doing a hyzer flip to get down through there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But on the short one, I feel like there's multiple options for me.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like for you, like the long pin, you have to throw a specific shot. Like you have to throw something that goes straight, maybe a little left, and then finishes out so that you have a putt.
Right.
As to the other one, like you're throwing that backhand, it probably needs to turn the whole way, or either you're flexing something over and trying to go to the left or right. There's options there, like you said. Mm-hmm. So I can see it being a different. As for me, I'm trying to throw a hyzer either way to both of them. So
I'm afraid that what I'm doing, what I'm going to be doing on most of these picking the pins, is I'm picking the shorter ones because of my weak arm.
I know, and I'm sitting there going, I'm picking all the opposite ones, the light ones.
I mean, if that's a personal preference, that's it, I guess. But
which I didn't. And to be fair, I didn't pick one on this one. I said both of them. So
that's true. Yeah. Can I just agree with you on that and just say both? Because I honestly love both of these. You know,
if you want to, that's fine with me.
What?
You following me?
I just want to be as much like you as possible.
Yeah, you got to shave your face.
No, not happening.
Well, at least put that video up that I sent you today.
That's never happening. All right, let's move on to hole number 6. This one is 216 feet is what I've got marked down. Now, these distances were taken off of U-disc, so sometimes U-disc they vary because you can actually, I'll say in particular, I know doing the Halo course myself, I put in distances and then it'll actually show up distances of what GPS says. So some of these could be a little bit off. This one at 156, it definitely plays further than that. And
yeah.
I don't know if it's just because you can see the massive uphill. It's literally uphill the whole way on both pins.
Mm-hmm.
This basket in particular is, so you see the big tree right in the middle of the fairway, and then you see the small tree to the right of that on the opposite side of the fairway on the right side. You basically want to get up past that and go maybe 40, 50 feet past that and hyzer out to the right for a lefty. So it'd be like a turnover or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, you said it said how far?
It says 156. I feel like it's 256, to be honest.
Yeah, I would probably, like a good comparison, I don't know how far the long one is, but it's like mid 300s. And a shot that gets even to the short basket is going to be over halfway there.
Right.
So I think it plays all
I can,
of 260, 250.
yeah, I agree. I can tell you, and you can kind of, I don't know, take this for what it's worth. But when I played it last, I can tell you without a shadow of doubt, I threw a Kahoo and had to get a little bit of flip on it. We actually, the first time I think I landed pin high about 25 feet to the left. And when we had those car issues, me and Jerry went back and played a few more holes. And then I put it within like maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 feet. So it's definitely reachable for me. So I would definitely say it's upwards of the middle 200s, in my opinion.
For sure. For sure. I'm probably, if I'm playing that pin, I'm just in general throwing a forehand at it. And I could go Ikea. Like in the past, when I was on a street team, I've thrown an A3 at it. I think if I juiced like a slower disc, like a yarn or a zone, I could get it in the circle just by throwing it high. The main key is just not early releasing it to the right with the forehand, because then it's just you have nothing. You're going to take a 4 at least. But I don't mess with the backhand on this hole for this position, just because as long as I hit the gap with the forehand, I should have a putt. So I'm going. I could probably try the Kea. I'm thinking too, if I practiced with a Kotuku enough, maybe just controlling the angle.
Okay.
I'm not super comfortable with flicking mids a lot, unless it's like that approach disc mid. That's what's most comfortable in my hand for those. But I have in the past like tried mids flicked at it that don't have quite as aggressive fade, or have a little bit more glide, and had success with it. So it's a forehand for me, regardless of the situation.
Yeah. I feel like it's the same shot as me on this one. You and I are essentially trying to do the same exact thing. Miss the big tree on the left, miss the stuff on the right, and get up the hill. And honestly, we're going. The only difference between me and you on this is you're going slower speed because you've got the arm for it, and you're going with the forehand where I'm doing the backhand.
Yeah, and I am. I'm assuming you are too, but I'm going right side of the big tree in the middle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming.
Yeah. I think if you go left side, that's 300 easy.
Yeah, you at least need something that's going to fade quite a bit. I would see you could probably be surprised and get to circle's edge on the left side, but it would just be just adding something extra for you whenever you could go a little bit straighter to the pin.
Right.
Charlie,
do you remember?
Yeah,
he's throwing Firebird flick or Fallon. Do you remember? I know Charlie does. Josh, do you remember when that big beautiful tree was right in the middle of this fairway? Or what? Well, it wasn't in the fairway. So like your basket, the gray baskets to the right, and then your long white baskets to the left up there. Like okay, you see where I'm doing this? Where my head is? There was a big beautiful tree up there, and I'm saying an old tree. I know Charlie remembers that, but unfortunately that guy's gone. Jason, I wish I had talked to Jason about it before and had to send me a picture. But there's a big beautiful, like it looked like the haunted house, like creepy kind of tree situation.
I feel like it was gone before I came to play that course.
Okay, I might be dating myself there with that.
He's dating himself.
Dating. I'm so cute.
No, to be honest, actually, I think I didn't play this course until after U.S. Women's was there. Okay. I watched your video to actually figure out.
What a sweetheart.
To figure out what I wanted to throw on each of them, because I didn't play this course before on the back nine whenever they had that fairway.
Look at Charlie's comment. He says, don't know if either of you played it when a big tree was pinned high left of the short pin, edge of the circle for the short pin. It made it tough to get between the two big trees and the long pin. Yep, I remember that, Charlie.
That would be really hard.
Tree. Yeah, it made it much harder. I'm assuming it just because that tree, I want to say, I'm not sure if it's there in the 2015 video or not. I wish I had uploaded that picture to see. I would try and look it up and put it on here, but I don't want to bog this down any. But maybe next time I'll look at the picture for when we're talking about the white baskets and see if it's still there. But it was definitely a different hole then.
Oh, I'm sure. That sounds way harder.
Well, let's give Mungo a shout out right quick before he leaves.
Oh yeah.
He said he's off to Haircut Park. What? Oh,
haircut.
No. Haircut. Can I get one of those?
These Americans.
Scott Stokely. Hey, tell Scott Stokely I said hi. He's a buddy of mine. He's been right here. He's stayed the night in our house before. Actually, yeah, he's a good dude. He's funny. They cut it down before the U.S. women's for safety reasons, is what Charlie's saying. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't play until after that. I remember that.
Well, it did change the hole for sure. Unfortunately, it's not there yet. But like I said, next time we talk about the white pins, I'll see if I've got it. It may have been there in 2015. It may not have been. I'm not exactly sure. But all right. I guess we can kind of wrap this hole up if you're good with it.
Yeah, I'm good with it. It's a cool hole. It's fine. Yeah,
it's good. It's just, stock forehand hyzer or stock lefty hyzer, I mean, I will say that you definitely got to make sure you get on it on this one to get up there. It plays a little further than what it looks. I'll say that. I know like I said, when I threw it the first time, last time we were up there, it was, I didn't throw it quite as hard because I'm like, well, it's only this. I don't know if the distance was the same, but the T sign said the distance on there. Sorry, a little bit of audio issue there. But yeah, I had to throw it a little bit harder on the second one, and then I actually got up there and parked it for the two.
Yeah, I actually I like this hole because if I'm playing the gray layout, it's the first time I've probably thrown a forehand if I'm throwing well. So it's changing up what my tee shot is, so it's a little bit of different variation. So yeah, I'm good with it.
All right. Well, I guess I said I'll say thumbs up, good hole. Short pin or white basket or gray basket?
For me, I'm going white basket again.
Okay. This one, I think I'm going to say white basket also. There's an additional challenge because I feel like it's more of a placement shot. Someone of my level, I'm not reaching that hole. I can get up there, but it's going to be a long putt. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be. I'll probably still be 60 feet away or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that being the case for that level. I could see that. I like that hole. I like the white basket more, though. I do like it.
I do too. All right. Well, if that's it, we can move to hole number 7. Is it showing?
Yep.
There we go. So, this one is very reminiscent of one of the holes at Warriors. I want to say hole 5 at Warriors. For some reason, that I see these two holes like as being the exact same line. I know Warriors is more open than this one, and there may be a little bit more uphill on this one versus the gradual uphill on that hole at Warriors. But to me, this is basically the same hole. Do you feel the same way?
I could see where maybe you as a lefty you would see that, but for me, I'm throwing two different shots probably.
Okay.
Because the hole 5 at Warriors, I have the option to throw just a hyzer if I want to.
Okay.
Or I can be aggressive and throw kind of like a hyzer flip that goes straight. As to here, the only option I have is to throw either a forehand or a hyzer flip.
Okay, so this is a pinched version of that hole, I guess. Then as well.
If there was a hole on this right side of the fairway
Mm-hmm.
where you could throw a hyzer, I would see. Like I can see the shape that you're talking about being similar, but as for me being able to throw the same way, I have to throw different shots. It's a similar
Yeah.
shape. I'm just blocked off at the shot that I would
Mm-hmm.
throw at Warriors.
So it looks like this one's 278.
Yeah, that's pretty close. I feel like it's in that somewhere between 280 and 300. I feel like somewhere in
Mm-hmm.
that range.
This one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for me, I'm taking probably a Kahoo and just literally going up over the top of that stuff and just letting it try and spike down right in the middle. Now, the problem with that shot is if I don't get a little bit of turn on that Kahoo, then I end up landing in the right side of that thick stuff over there.
Yeah, and that stuff is thick.
Yeah, I was just
It's
in there 2 weeks ago.
it's literally just like every 1 or 2 feet a tree with just branches, and if you go in the top of them, you're probably not getting your disc down.
Mm-hmm.
They're like branches like that. Like just hold on to discs.
Right. Yeah.
I've actually played a tournament one day where somebody had to re-tee because we couldn't find their disc in the top of the tree for them to throw their second shot, so they had to play a lost disc. And then
Wow.
after they'd thrown their other shot, we ended up finding it at the top of the tree. It sucks when that happens, but I mean, there's not much you can do.
That's true. I like Jeffrey's play. What he's saying here, a flippy pekka pekka. I think that's a great play.
I could see that being a good one. I would say if I was going to go, I could throw a pekka pekka controlled to that basket or try to hit the upslope behind it if I was going for the longer basket. So I think I've thrown a P walk at it before and parked it. Basically the same flight.
Wow. Okay. I think honestly, I'm on this hole. I think that if I had a forehand that was a little bit better, I think I would actually play a forehand on this one and do that kind of like force it towards the stuff right there and let it flex out. And I might not get up there for a putt, but I definitely have an easy little upshot.
Yeah, I could see if it was a shape like you're saying for the righty, I could probably do a forehand. I don't really enjoy throwing forced over, uh, really overstable stuff on backhand because my miss is one miss.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I play my best miss. So if I accidentally hit the gap with a P walk, I feel like me getting out of the right side to that basket's easier than me getting out of the left short. Because that stuff is nasty. If you hit that front side of those trees and don't get into the fairway, good luck getting your par.
Oh yeah, especially if you land behind the stuff on the left side.
Yeah. If you land down
That's
there at the bottom and you're inside the trees, at best, most of the time you're gonna have like a forehand roller or something.
right. Right. So this one, I'm going to give it a big thumbs up and say that it is probably one of the harder holes on the course for myself, at least on this front nine. Honestly, maybe on the whole course. It's a very tricky shot for a lefty. It's not. I'll say this: if you want to play the fairway, it's a very, very, very tricky shot. Now, if I just
Yeah.
want to do the stock hyzer over the top, make sure I get some turn on it, it's not as difficult. But for like, if I'm trying to play the fairway, like it's a placement shot for me.
Hey, the mall that he's talking about came from me.
Did it? That's why I threw it up. I kind of figured that's what you were talking about there.
Yeah,
Michael says Qatari forehand hard.
I mean, I could see. I've seen people throw forehands at it. If you just the forehand, you don't want to give it a ton of air. unless you're throwing like over the top, like you were talking about, which I don't enjoy doing that anymore. My arm hurts when I do that. But I have seen people like slam like a Firebird really hard low and play a skip, hit that hillside and try to skip up it and stuff. But I think I like this hole too. I think it's a good hole. And I'll go ahead and say this. I like the gray basket better than the white.
Yeah, I think I do too. We didn't mention it actually. I'm glad Brent said this. Thanks for shouting this
Yeah.
out here. But it is downhill off the tee, but it goes up. I would say probably the last 100 feet. What was it? 216? Yeah, maybe.
I feel like you end like at the same spot that you started, like height wise off the tee. I feel like you're sitting like this
Oh,
in a
okay.
bowl,
Yeah.
and a bowl's between you.
So you're like throwing kind of over a ravine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably correct. Yeah. So yeah, this one I don't really have anything else about this one. I think it's a good hole. Very very tricky for the right shot. I mean, to me it's a placement shot. You know, if I'm three in this one, I'm happy. I know for sure I landed in the stuff on the right side, and just by chance had this tiny little gap and somehow got out and saved my par. Which I think if you land in the opposite side and save your par, like I was incredibly happy when I did that.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the harder holes at least on the front nine, to birdie consistently. Like it's one that can make a score go pretty high if you mess up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's a good hole and it adds some different play to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I guess that's it for that hole. We kind of went over the opposite pins and then the other ones. You got any final comments about that before we move on to hole 7?
No, it's a good hole.
No,
I like that.
Yeah, 7. Yeah, that's right. No,
we're going to 8.
Was 7. We're going to 8. Yeah, got 2 holes left. So, hole 8 is a 296-foot hole. At least, like I said, this is what the UDisc says here. This one is, if you kind of see the little white spot. Okay, you see the blue disc there in Fergie's hand. There's like a white spot there, just to the northwest of his. Sorry, to the northwest of his disc there, a little white spot. So I think the basket goes in there to the right, and it goes pretty far to the right in there.
Northwest. Yeah, basically where his body is like it's to the right, like to those trees right behind him out there. Right. Yeah. Was it like 300 feet or like 290 or something?
Yeah, 296. So this one for me, honestly, I'll just go ahead and say it. Stock hyzer. Now there is like a small little gap that you've got to hit in there. You got to land in a particular spot. And we actually got 4 of them down there at the gap. I mean, maybe a couple of them just outside. But to me, it's like that perfect distance where my arm is. I'm not going to throw it too far and go in the stuff down there. And I can just throw a little bit of hyzer on it and just throw it out and just let the disc do, 98% of the work as long as I hit my angle.
Yeah. I can probably... this is just a weird hole for me. I could probably forehand like a Kea, maybe even something like a Huya or something. Like I just have to throw a forehand pretty high and hope that I don't go too far. This is super weird kind of position guarded place. So if you don't hit exactly where you need to be, if you're short or long, you're in the suck.
In the suck.
Yeah, it just is not. It's in the bad spot. You don't want to be there.
Right. I mean, you could potentially just play a little position shot, like you said, land at the mouth of it, and then do a little. I mean, you could still give it a little aggressive bid, if you're feeling tricky.
I've played that. I've played that before, and still ended up deep and being in a bad spot. Being like, I'm just going to play to the mouth. I think
Yeah.
it's tricky sometimes because you can get a little bit of wind play in
Mm-hmm.
there because you're in that open field and you're going into the trees. You're basically throwing out of the trees and using the field as a fairway to go back into the trees. Like,
You're right. Yeah.
it's weird. So you're getting all the wind play off of the field.
Yeah. Now that is, to me, one of the hardest factors about this hole is the wind. You know, if you got a little bit of headwind, I could potentially see it flipping my lefty hyzer over and then getting that extra push and glide and getting it to go in, as you said, the suck.
Yeah, into the suck.
Right into the suck.
Yeah, I've flicked a low speed stuff and went too far, so it's a really kind of a touchy distance. If you don't know, if you've not played the hole enough to know the power to throw it.
Right. But it's also at that kind of distance where I call it 300. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For somebody of my level, like I said, I have not played that pin. I actually forgot that pin was over there. It had been that long since I played that one, and I threw it and landed like 25 feet. Missed putt, but I landed right inside that gap. You know what I mean? So to me, it's that perfect little distance where I can just hyzer it and let it get in there.
Yeah.
But you got to hit. I mean, if you're not playing the layup shot precision is key.
Yeah. So your thoughts on the hole as a whole?
Your thoughts on the hole as a whole? I do like it. It's to me, it kind of has that vibe. I don't know if you've played. I know you've played Warrior, so you know a bunch of the older or some of the older holes. But to me, it seems just like that older hole. Does that make sense to you? Like,
yeah.
This is a classic disc golf hole, in my opinion. Now, I've only played for like 12 years, but when I play this, I get that vibe of like, wow, this is where disc golf was. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see what you're talking about. And here comes me.
Or why are you mad, bro?
I don't like this hole.
You don't like it?
No.
All right, then.
I'm just going to go ahead. I just don't like this hole. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it's just one of those weird shots for me. I just don't enjoy the hole. It's my least favorite hole probably on the course. And if it was in a slightly different position, I might like it better. Mm-hmm. But like if they had it pushed further down than where it is now and a better way into the trees. I feel like it's so weird because like it's literally just like a circle inside the trees with like an elbow that comes 90 degrees out. I just don't like it. Like I would rather it be another 80 feet forward and have like a slanted fairway into the green coming in at an angle instead of where it is. I don't know. I've only played this hole maybe twice and it's been in tournament and I just don't enjoy the tee shot that much.
I mean, I understand it. Like I'm not going to necessarily debate that because you're a higher level player, and I think that's where it gets tricky. Because to me, this one, I mean, that's distance control for sure for you because you might have to let off of it in order to not go deep. So
yeah, and I mean, there's a place like it changes stuff up, and I'm not saying it's an easy hole. I just don't enjoy playing it. Like I don't even know that I've ever birdied it. Okay. But I can throw the shot, but it's just one of those ones I'm like, I could go without playing this hole. Because for one, too, it's just like I said, that suck. I've thrown a good shot before and thinking it was great, and then I'm in there like this, trying to throw a shot whenever I was pretty happy off the tee. So maybe I've got some animosity or something towards the hole, but I'm just not a fan. Bro? You mad, bro? Yeah.
Listen, we're gonna make some. We're gonna make some whole discussion shirts in the future that says the whole discussion on the front and on the back it says, "Yeah," and it says, "Don't get in the suck."
Buy merch now.
So I'm gonna give it a. I'll do this at least. I'll do this. Okay. And he's got a thumbs down there. It's two thumbs down. Wow.
It's not my least favorite hole in disc golf, but it's not my favorite hole by far.
I feel you. So I'm going to go ahead and speak for Josh and say Josh prefers the long white basket on this one, and I'm going to agree with him.
Yes, we do.
Correct?
Yes, we do.
We do. Delp got triggered by a forehand toe.
Listen,
he's got an excellent forehand toe.
Whenever I started, I was 99.5% forehand.
Wow.
0.5.
I was too.
And it was actually really good until I got good at backhand, and then it kind of tapered off. And then I got this. So see, can you hear it? Oh, did you hear that?
Dude, mine does the same thing.
Oh,
I think I remember that. I don't know if you can hear it. Mine's not as loud, but well, after we're done breaking our clavicles, we can go on to hole number 9.
Oh my God!
Are you ready for hole 9?
I believe so.
All right, let's see here. So hole 9, you can see this one is. It's funny looking at the picture. It looks downhill, but I promise you, this hole is uphill.
Yeah, it's one of those optical illusion things.
Yeah, that's so weird. It actually looks, but this is uphill. It's like a gradual uphill. 219 feet, and the gray basket is. So you see the woods on the left there, and then there's a gap, and then there's one tree. So it's kind of in between, if I'm not mistaken, in between, like where that little hole would be. Right? Is that right, Josh?
Yeah, you can actually see the gray basket in the picture if you're looking. So the furthest left gap.
Yes.
With the sun in the background, there's like a little gray thing out there. That's the basket.
Okay.
There. Yeah. So, yeah, that one. This is a pretty straightforward hole for me in general.
Mm-hmm.
I throw like a Takapoo, like a premium plastic Takapoo on hyzer.
Okay. So I will say those trees that are not necessarily on the right side, but kind of right in the middle of the gap, they do have some lower branches there. So I could see height coming into play big time on this one.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I went Pekka, like my flip here Pekka, kind of like what I threw on, what is it, hole 3, the ridge? Is that?
Yes. No, hole 2. Hole 2.
2. Okay. So very, very, very similar shot to that one, but that's flat with the basket up on a little mound, where this is just kind of a gradual uphill the whole way. But I feel like this plays almost exactly the same as how that hole does. And that's what I did on this one, and I'm pretty sure I put it like 2 feet from the basket.
And that would make sense too, because I feel like this one plays shorter and is shorter, and you threw that shot on hole 2 pretty much perfect, and you were pretty short of the basket. You were within a putt, but you were maybe like 30 feet short, and I'm pretty sure the distance at the ridge is around 270. Uphill. So, and what'd you say this one was, 2?
It says 219. I feel like it might be a little further than that, but not much. Maybe 225.
That would make sense, at least probably, because if you put it right at the pin, that would put you at about a circle's edge putt or something to the basket at the ridge about where you was. So that makes sense.
Right.
I could see this one being a pretty tricky one for a lefty with that doesn't have a forehand.
Yeah. Yeah,
because the low shot is a very advantageous shot. I usually throw my putter, like I said, like a Takapoo. I throw it on hyzer and fairly kind of hard, and I'm throwing it at the ground because I'm just playing to hit like 30 feet short of the basket and try to get it to skip to the basket. And that drainage ditch in tournaments plays OB.
Okay, I don't think I've played a tournament there, so I was wondering that. But
they usually play it surrounded by concrete, so you could actually go in the woods past the culvert and be in the woods and be safe. It's just going to be sucky over there. But usually if you're in tournament, you're playing at least concrete is OB, surrounded by concrete.
Okay. That makes sense.
that's another risk on that hole too. That puts it in your head a little bit to try not. If you early release, you're probably, and it's usually stroke. You lose a lot of distance on that one because the way that fairway plays, that it kind of pushes over in front of the straight shot up that left side. So the basket sits here. You can actually see it in that picture. The basket is in line with that culvert. So you could go OB, land in that concrete, and be maybe like 80 feet off the tee.
Wow.
Because it just follows the fairway so much.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think, me being a lefty, I don't think I've ever ended up over there. Just simply because my mistake on this one would be turning it over too much or hyzering out. And let's be honest, I don't have the problem with turning stuff over too much very often.
Yeah, I would say about the only reason that you would land over there is if you yanked something or you hit that tree that's right next to it and it just falls straight down. And that's basically most of the time what I see is somebody like early releases something and hits those trees on the left and it rolls into it or something, or they just mess up a shot completely and just kind of throw something overstable and skip into it right before the basket or something. But so I just play kind of like a hyzer flip, slightly stable putter at it and let it get that gentle push low.
Stay under the limbs and not necessarily have to worry about that. Let's see what Jeffrey said. Man, these shorts are short, and I do agree. They are, but you also got to take into consideration the elevation. So, I mean, where this one says 219, I would say 240, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey's from the other side of Virginia. So I'm assuming there's not a ton of elevation out there, but that's like the ridge. Like you look at that course for an 18-hole course, and its actual distance is super short compared to a lot of courses. It's just barely over a 5,000-foot course, but I mean, you're playing holes that feel like you're playing 500 feet sometimes because the elevation is so different. So it's a different type of golf. Like you got to look at actual distance thrown versus like playing, like what it plays like.
Right. Yeah.
Because the actual distance, it might not be far, but I mean, it's going to take like a 260-foot shot to actually get it there or something. I deal with that a lot.
Yeah. Charlie said if I throw straight at the trees in the center, I'd have a 20-foot putt. Yeah, I think I remember that. Just, I mean, you could probably play that. Just hit the trees, just throw it straight and hit the trees. Obviously, I was trying to get up there to it, Jeffrey, I definitely am. We can definitely get around in, like Josh was talking about that. But the hyzer flip 2E shot, I love it. I absolutely love it. I got the Magma Soft 2Es, and I love those on a hyzer flip. But I could never reach this distance just because of the uphill with that 2E.
I've been working on him, trying to make him throw more putters. Listen, you threw one and got an ace.
I did.
Who's right? Who's right? Who's correct?
Right. Well, that one was, what was it, honey? It was like 214.
380 feet.
Yeah, that's what it was with the putter, 380. But, no, 224. Hey, all hyzer. So I'm working on it, I am, but it's not my easiest shot, so. All right, with this hole, I'm going to go ahead and say it's a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, I like this hole.
It's a fun hole.
I prefer the gray basket over the white basket on this one.
Same.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, I guess that's it. All right, see y'all later. Well, we had some awkwardness there, but that's what we're doing this here. So overall, let's just go ahead and we'll try and wrap it up. We've been here for like almost 2 hours, so definitely not going to be doing the back nine. That's kind of why we chose to do the front nine only, and then we'll do the back nine in 2 weeks. Do you have anything else about this course before we close off, or at least the front nine?
No, I think we've said everything really.
Okay, just to me, I'll just say one last thing about it. It's a good standard, like old style disc golf course, in my opinion. Like you can
Yeah,
tell this one's been there for years. The fairways are, there's no mistaking anything on this. The fairways are the fairways.
it definitely plays different than most of the courses in the area. Even though it is wooded, it has a different feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
For a while, I wasn't a big fan of wing deer, but it's grown a little bit more on me as I've played it. But it has a different feel than most of the other wooded courses you play.
Mm-hmm. I will ask one question. Charlie's asking about history questions of the course. Two, actually. One, do you know the course designer, or was it multiple people involved? And two, on Disc Golf Course Review, it said the course was put in 1992. So I was going to see if that's correct. Now, I ask questions, and now we sit and talk about your red face, I guess. Talk about your. We can go back. Oh, I know what we can do while we're doing that. As I smack my hands really loudly, we'll say our favorite holes on the front nine. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, my least favorite hole. I'll start with least favorite hole is hole 4 on the front nine. Definitely my least favorite. Like we said,
open hole.
It's just exactly. And then my favorite, I had number 3 marked down as being my favorite, but I actually think I'm going to change that right now to hole 9, the one that we just spoke of.
Okay. Well, if it's not obvious at all, my least favorite hole was hole 8. And I think my favorite hole is actually for the Grays is hole 7. I guess it's the one right before it. The one that we were talking about. The one before 8.
It usually is.
It has I was throwing like a hyzer flip at it or something.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I've heard this before. Somebody has told me this.
What's that?
His answer. I've heard this before. I knew I'd heard it, but I couldn't remember what the answer was.
John Winery and Tim were the spearheads of the OG 9.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
Josh,
it was a 9 hole.
Are those holes still playable? I'll ask that because maybe we can go back and do a 9 hole and show the OG course there. Maybe me, you, and Charlie can do that.
They might be. I feel like some of them are incorporated. I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like it was only one side at one point, like where the parking lot splits it. I feel like it was something like that, like it was on one side or the other.
Okay. Well, he says the OG 9 have been since 92, 93. All right, I'm calling it now. One day, Charlie, join me and Josh, and we're going to show the original layout.
Oh, yeah.
Down, Josh?
Yeah, and he does say that. It's 1 through 6 and 16 and 18. 16 through 18 were the OG 9. So you actually played 1 through 6, and then that's what it was. Okay, so you go to hole 6 up on the hill, and then that's why there's that walking path between 6 and 16.
Oh, okay.
I think. So you played 16, 17, and 18 after that, I think.
Okay. He changed it here. He says no.
Was it 15?
Oh, I'm sorry. Amanda had it thrown up already. I took it off.
That's what I thought, 15. So the one that's the big par, they have a par 4 for the white basket. Yeah, there's a little walking path right there between 6 and 15, I believe, because they're really close to each other. When you're on 15 and 7's tee, you're back to back with those two tees. So that makes sense that they branched off and added that way.
Nice. Well, I'm writing that down right now, and we will go sometime 15 through 18 and 1 through 6. Because I would really like to play it in its original thing there. So, all right. Well, I don't really have anything else. Maybe one day we can do a whole discussion for just the OG. I love showing off the original courses and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So,
that would be cool.
If you think, I don't really have anything else unless you do.
Just a cool Tony Hawk tech deck back there.
Oh, that's pretty sweet. Oh, this is actually the Tony Hawk brand. Have you seen that?
No, I didn't know he had a brand.
It's Hot Wheels. It's Hot Wheels brand.
Oh, wow.
It's never going to focus, but yeah,
no,
it's new. It comes
That's
with these
cool. I
cute
didn't know
little
that.
shoes.
Oh, your fingers get shoes?
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But we're getting kind of off the rail here.
I just
We've
wanted
been
to
on
point
here
it out.
for a minute. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's not too bad. It's a cool little guy. But I guess that's it. I just want to kind of thank everybody. Charlie, Jeffrey, Brent. Who else did we have in here?
Master of
DG.
Disc Golf.
Yeah,
Mungo.
we got a bunch of people. Yeah. Thanks to Amanda for running things on the back end, with throwing the comments up and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
We will be over on Joshua Delp's channel next week with episode 3 of his podcast called Just Hucking Around. So,
yep.
Join
us.
Yep, it'll be the
Same
time.
bat time.
As soon as you leave here, go subscribe to Josh if you haven't already. You're silly if you haven't, because he's got some excellent content. And once again, thanks to everybody for tuning in. I don't have anything else unless you got anything, Josh.
Nope, just peace.
All right. Thank you all, and have a good night. Have a good week.